Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. I'm your host this morning or this afternoon.
Good
Oh,
afternoon,
we got a little bit of
everyone, and
feedback
welcome to
here, so
Tea Time.
excuse me for just a second while I reset my phone here. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. I'm Carmela Head, the Director of Renewal and Community Programs here at the Renewal Center, and I'm so excited that you are joining us today at the Renewal Center for another time of reset, another time of pause, another time to gather ourselves. And we'll be joining again today, and we'll be talking about I would say, just the prize and the gift of being you. So we're going to take time today. We ask that you go and invite your friends, call your friends. Good afternoon, Daphne, Monique, and Hope. I hope everybody's doing well. Don't forget to tag your friends, invite your friends, go get your friends, share this on your social media pages, and then also share with others that we are streaming live over there at It's Patrick Brown page on YouTube. So we're so excited that you're joining us today for another time. Hi, tea timers. I hope that you brought your tea with you and your journals today and your notepads and your pens because we're really going to have a great time talking about the gift of being you. And I'm so excited. So I want to just let you guys know that we are in the month of August. Here at the Renewal Center, we're going to be focusing on Art Appreciation Month. So during the month of August, we're going to be celebrating artists artisans in their craftsmanship, their workmanship, and their creativity. So stay tuned to our Renewal Center page so you can see some of the things that we're going to be talking about this month at the Renewal Center. So without further delay, I know you guys are wondering what tea of the week is going to be. Our tea of the week is white peony tea. White peony tea. Have any of you guys heard of white peony tea? I know that we've covered white tea and it's in the white tea family, but I want to share a little bit about this particular tea because it's really interesting. White peony tea, it's also known as Pai Mutan or Bay Mudan. It is in the white tea family, like I said before. And, it's a mild and sweet type of white tea that comes from the earliest and the newest buds, the early buds, actually before the Camellia sinensis starts to blossom. These particular tea buds are harvested early and made into the white peony tea. I found out that the white peony tea has a very melony aroma, very bamboo type aroma, and also the flavor is really sweet and very mild. And it's considered a very refreshing tea for a lot of people that like to drink it. So if you find out any information or you have some of this white peony tea, let us know how you like it here at the Renewal Center. We'd love to hear what everybody's having. Daphne, you said you haven't heard of it. Okay, and let's see if anyone else had anything else to say about that tea. But if you find out anything or you taste it, let us know how you like it. Okay, so without further delay, we're going to talk about our book of the week, and we're continuing our books on prayer to continue in the month of August. And the book that we have that we're featuring today is the Seven Prayers That'll Change Your Life Forever. It's from Stormy O'Martian. She's the author that I talked about on last week. We have a hard copy here in the in-house library in the Thought Room. And this is a very, very powerful book. I love reading this book. And it says it teaches us the seven most important keys to draw near to the Lord. And every time you pray, this is on the back of the book that says, every time you pray, you're advancing God's purpose for you. So if you ever get a chance to get a hold of this book, it's a great book, The Seven Prayers that will change your life forever. And so without further delay, we're going to go forward right now into Tea Time Tuesday. We're looking forward to a great time today. This is going to be a great session. So don't forget to get your journals. And also, we're going to go ahead and bring on our executive director, Patrick J. Brown, for the rest of Tea Time Tuesday.
Thank you so much, Carmela. It's so good to be on. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. I trust all is well and that your week is going well. Welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. Go ahead and share with us what is your tea of choice for today. What is your tea of choice for today? This is a great opportunity for us as we've been focusing on the gift of being you, focusing on artist awareness and art appreciation month. So this has been an incredible time for us to come together, to connect, to build resilience, to reset. More than any time in our lives, we need to turn to each other and the importance of coming together in community. And that's what Tea Time is all about. So go ahead, please, and share with us, what tea do you have for you today? Let's see what we got going. Monique says she has ginger and turmeric tea. All right, keep sharing with us. What's your tea for today? Refreshing ginger. That's good for the immune system, folks. Definitely, that's a good, healthy tea. Anybody else out there?
Monique and I are having the same exact tea this morning.
Okay. So everybody's on the immunity tip today. Let's see here.
Yes.
Elderberries, turmeric, and ginger again. Okay. So I don't have that today. I guess I'm not in the immunity group today. But this is good. This is good. These are teas that are important for you to refresh yourself. So before we go forward with our tea time subject matter today, let's take a moment to locate ourselves, all right? We know that there's a lot that's going on in our world. There's a lot of information, misinformation, information overload. So let's make sure, let's take about 30 seconds and let's just calm ourselves. So go ahead and get in a good posture, if you will, wherever you are, in your office, in your home, doesn't matter where you are, find a posture today and let's reflect and let's rest and let's build resilience. So go ahead and let's just use 30 seconds to calm and to relax ourselves. Go ahead and breathe in through your nose. Breathe out. Very good. All right. Let's see what else we got coming in here. Chiquita says sparkling water today. That's all right. That's still cleansing. Old school orange. What is that word?
Oh, orange pico tea.
Pico tea. Okay. Thank you for teaching me something fresh and new today, Nicole. Want to make sure I had that pronunciation correctly. I'll have to try that one. Thank you so much. Good. Anybody else? What's your tea of choice today? Awesome. I wanted us to, before we go forward, how important is it that you have a tea time community? What does this mean to you? It'd be interesting just to crowdsource, if you don't mind. Yeah. And I'd like to hear from those of you that connect with us. We've been doing this for several months now on Tuesdays and every Tuesday at noon. And I'd like to get your thoughts on how is this impacting you? What value add does Tea Time Tuesday have for you? It'd be nice to hear if you could place that in the chats. Let us know what your thoughts are. It'd be great to hear from you to really get a feel of what's happening, how this is impacting you. Hey there, let's see. We've got ginger tea. Thank you for sharing that, Camille. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So there's a lot of ginger going on today. This is a good day of health. A health day. Good old health day. So we'd love to hear from you here at the Renewal Center. One of our areas of our vision is to renewing minds, but also we have one that says restoring lives. And we'd like to know, as we're focusing on hospitality, how is this impacting you? Are you looking forward to this on Tuesdays? What is this doing to you? What have you learned? What have you gleaned? We love to hear from you because our goal is to improve our to improve our service, to improve what we're doing. Yes. And so we want to make sure that we're able to provide this for you. Hi, Beverly. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So next week you can join us with some tea at noon. Thank you so much for attending with us, Beverly. That's okay. Grab you some water, squeeze a little lemon in it, a little lime, and that'll work for you. Okay. Carmela, thank you for just getting us started. I want to encourage everyone, if you have a journal today, please go ahead and grab your journal, or if you have your notebook, because Tea Time, we cover a lot of subjects. So before we go forward, just make sure that you get yourself together. Go ahead and grab your content that you're going to record, your information, and we want you to be a part of this experience for us today. If you have any other friends that are out there that are available, go ahead and tag them, let them know that we're on to be a part of this experience today. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carmela. We'll come back at the end. All right, everyone. Again, welcome again to Tea Time Tuesday. I'm your host, Patrick J. Brown, Executive Director here at the Renewal Center here in Concord, North Carolina, here for Tea Time Tuesday. So hopefully you have your tea. Wanted to hear from you on how this is impacting you. Perhaps there are other friends, other people you're connected to, other family members. Bring them on board as we focus on rest, resetting, and fostering resilience. And we do that by building community. Last week, we have been focused the entire month of August on the gift of being you. And we had 4 areas in the pattern of our life and the puzzle of life about the you of living, the you of loving, the you of legacy, and the you of learning. And so we covered these 4 areas last week, last Tuesday, and the importance of taking a step to look at how the gift of being you is about the living, the life that you have, and how you're an image bearer. And so that was important that we covered that. We also talked about the you of loving and how love is our identity and our calling. And we're children of love, born from love, and sustained by it. And then, of course, legacy. What are we leaving? Legacy is the past informing us, the present instructing us, and in the future inspiring us. What great time right now that we have to build each other and strengthen each other, and taking a moment really to build a community of resilience. And then lastly, we began to have a discussion around the you of learning and how learning is our evolution and our expanding. So that was our emphasis last week. That was part 1 for the gift of being you. Today we have part 2, and then we have 2 more Tuesdays left in our month that we'll be going through the gift of being you. So hopefully you have your journal, you have your notes, and let's participate in our session today. Today's session on the gift of being you, we have another 4 areas we want to cover that we'd like to focus on and spend some time in reflection. All right. Awareness is key to knowing where you are. We always use the word locate yourself. So awareness is critical. In order for you to know where you are, you got to locate yourself. It's called being aware of where we are. And so today we're going to focus on these 4 areas. One is originality, opportunity, overcoming, and ownership, and how our lives evolve and revolve around these 4 areas in the gift of being you. We're going to start with originality today. Originality. When you think about the gift of being you, and the word originality, as it relates to your life, what thoughts, what feelings come as a result of the word originality? Now take your time and sit with this. Sit with this. And we're taking a pause today. I want you to really locate yourself around the word originality. Because again, we're reflecting on, in our tea time today, the gift of being you. And we're using the word today, originality. We're starting with that. So when you consider the word originality, what comes to your heart? What comes to your mind? And why is that important to you as far as the gift of being you in the area of originality? So go ahead and place those comments in the chat. Let's hear from the group, and let's build this atmosphere of resilience today. Why are we discussing the gift of being you? Well, there's a lot that's happening in our world today. We have a cancel culture. We have a culture where people are just cutting people off, and my block game is strong, and all these other things that we see in media, social media, and in real life. And it's important that we also begin to get back to community and the importance of building resilience, and how critical that is for us to be able to not just survive, but to thrive in the midst of our struggles and the challenges we're experiencing as a nation or as a global village. And so originality is part of that aspect of who we are. And so when you consider the word originality, share with us what your thoughts. those of you that are on right now, begin to think through, how does that apply to your life? What does it mean? What pops in your mind? What emotions will that evoke? What thoughts will arise as a result of that word? So a few are coming in right now. Authenticity. Okay, being authentic and the importance of that. How critical it is that in the world we're in, authenticity is important, that we stay true to ourselves and who we are and why we are. Anybody else want to share anything else about originality? How important it is for us to be original? Thank you for sharing that. Nicole says unique, one of a kind. Yes, uniqueness is critical. You're one of a kind, and your one of a kindness is incredibly valuable to the world. Camille says authentic in any situation. You know, the root word of authentic or authenticity is the word author. What are we writing? What are we writing? What script of life are we writing? The script of our life is our authenticity, where it derives from. So authentic. Keisha says also authentic. Monique says here, uniqueness. Here it is again, another word, uniqueness. God created each of us as individuals. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Andrell says, originally, the origin of my reality. God created me different, unlike anyone else, to fulfill a specific purpose. So the origin of my reality. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Tanya says, creativity. Thank you for sharing that. So here, again, as we are in this tea time today, and we're in this whole month, is on the gift of being you. We want to make sure that we remember originality. And what happens when you recognize your originality? Anybody want to answer that? What happens when we recognize our originality? Some more answers are coming in here. Only I can be me. No one else can be me. Absolutely. Anybody else? Any answers to that? What happens when you embrace your originality? I'd love to hear an answer to that, because again, this whole month is about the gift of being you and how important it is for us to understand that. And we're hearing uniqueness, we're getting original, the origin of my authenticity, so many different aspects that are important to knowing who we are and gift of being, and how when we think about the word gifts are there to be opened. Gifts are to be appreciated. Griefs are to say thank you for it. When there's gratefulness and thankfulness, thanksgiving in gifts. And so that's why we've been focusing on the gift of being you. And the 4 dimensions today, we're concentrating on, number 1 is originality. Kim says, Andrell says, you live the life that God intended and not the one that others intend for you. That's what happens when you embrace originality. Anybody else, please answer that. Kimberly says, you show up and walk in purpose. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Daphne says, feel authentic, true to self, free from wearing a mask. Yeah, so we're getting some incredible answers, and thank you all for sharing that. And again, this is part of fostering resilience by building a kind of community where we come together on Tuesdays and we really share the best of who we are and the worst of who we are, because we have the range of human experience. And the key thing about that in originality, that also means I embrace the full spectrum of who we are. We are able to embrace that. And that's critical for uniqueness and authenticity. You're absolutely right. One size does not fit all. And there's no cookie cutter, even when it comes to how you lead. Even in how you lead and how you show up. That's important. I'd like also to add to this, when we embrace originality, begin to release ourselves from comparison. So when we embrace originality, we have self-validation and self-affirmation, where we are no longer focused on comparison and measuring ourselves towards others. So we begin to develop an inward strength of authenticity and focus when we are in our originality? Absolutely. All these answers that are coming in today, I greatly appreciate what you're sharing with us. And I wanted to us to have this discussion about originality because of the kind of world that we live in where, it's a control C, control V, copy and paste lifestyle. And so when you get into originality, you no longer need to prove anything. You're no longer seeking for approvals. And you're no longer looking that there are things that you need to do in order for you to be accepted. You begin to recognize, like we're hearing here, authenticity and uniqueness, showing up and walking in purpose. All right, so let's move to the next one, which is opportunity. Now, when you begin to embrace your originality, how does opportunity or open doors connect to your originality? Now, really take your time and think through this question. How does opportunity connect with your originality? And how does opportunity connect with the gift of being you? So let's just sit with that question one more time. How does opportunity connect with your originality? How does opportunity express the gift of being you? Now, while you're meditating and you're thinking on that particular question, let's bring up a few more answers. Keisha says, when I'm original, what's within me is shared with others for the betterment. I live a purpose-filled life. Thank you for sharing that. So let's take our time and think through this second question about opportunities. Now, how does that derive or grow from, perhaps, or connect with originality? Any thoughts you have on that? Because again, what we're thinking through this month, every Tuesday, is about the gift of being you. You are a gift. Now, this is not a discussion about giftedness. It's not about gifts, talents, capacities. This is more about the gift of being you. So it's about the state of being that we're in, the state of becoming that's evolving or being revealed in our life. And so I would like you to think about that question that I just posed in the area of opportunity, and how does that connect or derive from your originality? Let's sit with this one. No need to rush. You can sip your tea, drink your water, and let's reflect. I said, well, why are we thinking about this? Because the more that we go within and we see these giftings, we see the originality of who we are, then when we begin to walk in accuracy, we're adding that value to everyone around us. Think about that. When we're walking in that accuracy, living in that accuracy, there's a value that we're adding to everyone because of that accuracy. And so when opportunity arises, it will come as a result of originality. It won't be just because it's an opportunity that's opening up for you. So let's begin to think about this a little bit more deeper, and let's share some more. Nicole says, embracing originality helps you see your worth, realizing there are some things only you can offer the world. Woo. Say that again, Nicole, for us, for not just the people in the back. Say that for everyone. When we embrace this, you see. So that frees us from measuring. It frees us from comparison. It frees us from constantly staying in evaluation, constantly looking at it and saying, am I okay? Am I well? Yes, there are times we need to assess where we are, but staying in constructive mode is not constructive. All right? There's a time and a space for it so that we can focus on preparing for what we need to do and how we need to show up in life. All right? So it's important that we continue to consistently think through that. So again, one more time, I'm going to ask the question about opportunity and how does that connect with the gift of being you or originality. Some answers are coming in. Let's see. Camille is sharing. We should always leave others in a pleasant space, the salt. Treat each moment as an opportunity we may not get again. Mm. Hmm. Let's break that down. There's some incredible content that's coming through here. Hope that you all are taking notes in your journals today, because it's like we're building and fostering resilience by these comments. Leave in a pleasant space, so salt. You know, interesting about salt, I've never heard anybody say this meat or this salt tastes meaty. It's always this meat tastes salty, right? Nobody says, oh, this salt tastes meaty. Why? Because salt is a preservative. And so it is a spice. It adds, it adds, it adds. And so, in other words, are other people's lives enhanced because of you being original? And are you taking the most of that opportunity, like Camille just shared, that we may not? So, the importance of us walking in opportunity. Anybody else want to share about how opportunity connects with originality? All right. Chiquita says, also, you give yourself permission to be open to something new and different without wondering how someone would do it. So again, you immediately enter into that space where you're not looking to say, oh, how are they doing it? We're standing in line and we're looking at how others are doing it instead of being original in our own opportunity. All right. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's move on to the next point. We have 2 more points here in our tea time today. And again, let's pause for a moment and really just let ourselves reflect. This is important that we're able to engage in this conversation today. Number 3 and 4, the 2 that I want to really dig into as well. Overcoming. Overcoming is connected to the gift of being you, because overcoming is about your story. It is about the victories, the valleys, the failures, the struggles. All those aspects are involved in your overcoming. Part of the gift of being you is also beginning to personally validate what you have overcome. You know, there were songs that were born out of people's overcoming. The blues, that was born out of overcoming. The Negro spirituals and sorrow songs were born out of overcoming. Many powerful lyrics and poems have come as a result of overcoming. So this is the moment where I want to encourage you. Your story matters. Because once you recognize your originality and your opportunity that comes from that, then you can recognize what I've overcome. I can now validate that in myself. And so my voice, my story, it matters. And so I want you to think about overcoming. Think about what you've overcome just today, just in 2021. We don't even have to measure it. We don't have to say, wow, that person's overcoming story is greater than my personal. It's not even about that. It is about realizing, because you are here right now, you've overcome something. We may not know what that is, but don't you know that the way that you show up and understand the gift of being you is celebrating your overcoming spirit and being able to validate that yourself. So I want you to think about what you've overcome and how is that connected to the gift of being you? How is overcoming connected to the gift of being you? Or is it connected? Let's sit here with this one. I know some of you are probably thinking through this right now and saying, wow, let me think on this one. Let me consider what it is that I've overcome and how that overcoming reveals more of who I am. Just think about that. I think this is a great exercise because sometimes we don't think that our overcoming story generates value, and it does. Because what you're doing now is you're recognizing that's part of who you are. It's not the totality of who you are, but it is a part of who you are and where you're going and what you are contributing. That's one reason why we read biographies and autobiographies. We read them because we're learning from other people's overcoming stories, their journeys. So they matter. Carmela said that. Here it is. Our stories matter. Yes, they do. Our stories matter. Our journeys matter. Our overcoming journeys matter. And so I think that's important that we begin to document it, pass it on. Matter of fact, in recognizing your overcoming, there's legacy that's established in that. There are lessons, there are principles that you're imparting, increasing, and releasing to others because of your overcoming. Let's see here. Monique says, overcoming obstacles in my life have helped to strengthen who I am, and my story has encouraged others. Mm-hmm. Keisha says, about overcoming, I learned that I'm resilient. I'm stronger than I knew. These are some powerful answers. See, I want you to take some time here in the month of August to really consider, what have you overcome? Resist the urge to measure it and just simply respond to life. You know, when I walk on different trails, and you've probably gone through this before, or in driving in the asphalt concrete jungle of different roads, have you ever seen a little plant, a weed on the top of a bridge or a building, and your thought is, how did it get there? It overcame. Perhaps the seed got blown by the wind or dropped by a bird or something. And as a result of that, it found its way to grow. We don't know how it got there or why it got there, but what we can say is that it is there and it overcame. It overcame something to be there. And so your life being a seed, you've also overcome as well. And so I want you to consider that as we're thinking through these areas. You know, what is it that you and I are overcoming? And as a result of that seed, that plant overcoming wherever it came from, it grew, it expanded itself. And you know what? Because you're here, you provide the same thing, the same self-same experience. All right, let's go to our very last point today is ownership. Now, ownership is about owning your stuff. Owning your stuff. Yep, I use the word stuff. That's right. Own where you are. You know, if you own where you are, you can also project where you're going when you own where you are. That means I have the ability to own all of my weaknesses, all my proclivities, all my idiosyncrasies, all my flaws, all my dark places. I own them. You are empowered with the gift of being you when you own where you are. I want you to really locate that and sit on that. And let's think about ownership. When we own where we are, it frees us from being condemned and judgment, external judgment, and self-condemnation will not rule us when we own where we are. That's a gift. That's a gift. So I want you to think about, how does the power of ownership expressed? Because sometimes when we think about the gift of being you, it's all about positive, great things. And we're not considering the fact that even some of those scars, you know, I like banana pudding, but I like banana pudding when it has the bananas that have bruises on them, not the bananas that are fresh out of the store. When they have some bruises and marks on them, don't you know they're sweeter with the bruises and the marks? Fruit is always sweeter with the bruises. So we're not going to make banana pudding with these green and high yellow bananas. They need to have a little bit of bruises, little few dark spots here and there. They've been punched on, they've been beat on. You know, some of you even have a certain drink or a certain cup that you go to. Anybody got your go-to cup? You might have a crack in it, it has a chip, but you always use it. It's been tested. So your ownership shows there is still sweetness about your life. So how does ownership connect to the gift of being? All right, let's think about that. I want you to meditate on that part. Overcoming really fine-tunes who you are. It brings out the essence of your identity. Yeah, absolutely. Some out loud, others in solitude. Absolutely. We're really thinking through this today. Camille says speckles. Right? So, folks, I want you to think about, how does owning where you are express the gift of being you? Really think through that. That leaves no room for shaming, blaming, and naming. It leaves no room for that when I take ownership. Now I can say, hey, this is where I am. I own this. And I now, because I own it, I'm now empowered over it to change my trajectory, to change the path of where I am. You know, I've had to take ownership over things in my own life before. And, you know, when I began to look at the areas that I took ownership over, I began to see a new season emerge. New season, yeah. When I began to embrace that I was in fall, I began to recognize winter was coming. When you embrace and own a particular area of your life, you now begin to recognize there are new seasons that will be released, because you're now willing to say, I'm honest and I'm authentic about where I am. And you no longer will remain stuck in condemnation and self-condemnation and self-judgment, staying in evaluative mode about yourself. Because you know how the world is. There's this pressure to be a particular way. And we sometimes can internalize aspects of who we are when there's a failure, when there's a flaw, when there's a weak place, when something has come up, when something's been disclosed about who we are. So again, ownership does express the gift of being you. So that's our last point for today. I'm going to give you a chance to think about that. So there are 4 areas we could cover today that I'd like to just review and recap, but let's stay on ownership for now. How does ownership express the gift of being you? Anyone else? How does ownership, express the gift of being you? Keisha says ownership equals accountability to self. Monique shares here, no one knows you like you do. Knowing yourself develops self-awareness. Absolutely. Anybody else? Don't you know that even in your ownership of where you are, that is a gift to you and others? Because even if people may not be listening, they're picking up on what you're expressing, even in the area of ownership. Maybe you're showing a lesson of humility, pliability, meekness. So those are other aspects that we're gleaning as a result of that. Tanya shares here, ownership allows you to tell your own story. Nobody can tell your story like you can. Ownership brings personal freedom. Absolutely. I think it allows for growth of oneself. Okay. Yes. So again, these are areas, these 4 areas on the gift of being you. We're going to spend our time in the next 2 Tuesdays concentrating on these areas. So let's pause here for a moment. And I'm going to bring up the 4 areas again on the screen. And I'd like you to consider, before we stop today, what jumps out to you as a result of our discussion, our tea time today. Originality, opportunity, overcoming, ownership. What areas, what are your takeaways? What are some areas that you can now meditate on, that you can really reflect on, that you might even write in your journal and say, I'm going to take this a little further, a little deeper than previous times. Perhaps you need to look at your originality that you haven't looked at before. You might discover an area of your life that is so powerful and so productive because of your originality. Maybe there's an opportunity you have not looked at as a result of not looking at your originality. Perhaps you don't realize the power that you have because you overcame. Maybe there's something you need to write. Maybe there's a lyrics that you need to write. There's a song that you need to sing. Perhaps there's something you need to write, something you need to document. Maybe there's a creation that is going to come out of you because of your overcoming. And then lastly, ownership. So let's think through, what are your takeaways today? What jumps out to you today that as a result of our tea time? I'd like you to place that in the chat, if you will, those that are out there. All right, taking better advantage of opportunities. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Camille. Let's take advantage of those opportunities that are out there, folks. When we are originally who we are, those opportunities will emerge because of our authenticity. Take it and carpe diem, right? Let's see here. It takes introspecting. Yes, it does. Facing raw truths. Absolutely. Giving yourself grace. Yes. And when we own it, we can begin to transform. I've already seen a couple of examples of where I could have left the scenario better. So that's ownership. See, that type of raw truth and authenticity and transparency, Camille, first of all, thank you for sharing that with us. And what that does is that causes us to emerge with such a greater grace on our lives for growth in the gift of being who we are. Being okay with being a work in progress. Absolutely. We've got to constantly unfold. I'm an original design created with purpose. Originality. Yes, that's a powerful takeaway. Anybody else want to share what jumps out to you out of these 4 areas in the gift of being you before we close today? As you're reflecting on that, I just want to remind those of you that connect with us here at the Renewal Center. We appreciate you connecting with us. Feel free to donate to the Renewal Center. If this content is strengthening you, if it's helping you, if this community provides value, I'd like you to consider donating and partnering with the Renewal Center. You can visit our website, which is streaming there at the bottom. Also, we have a text to give option where you can donate to the Renewal Center by texting Renewal Center to 888-364-4483. Or also you can download our mobile app. Download our mobile app on your Apple, Google, or your Android store. So just wanted to remind you of that option. So I'll leave that streaming there for you at the bottom. All right, let's hear what else others are sharing here. Nicole, let's see here. We have to also take ownership of the things that we're good at. Be humble, but never deny your greatness. Woo! Nicole, you're on point today, dropping some nuggets here. Taking ownership of things that we are good at. Absolutely. Ownership. Being humble, but never denying your greatness. You were born with it. You might as well go ahead and take ownership and embrace it. Thank you so much. All right, folks. So we've had a lot of sharing today. A couple of things we want to end with. The next 2 Tuesdays, we're going to continue down this focus, this path of the gift of being you. Please join with us next Tuesday at 12 noon. Share it with others. We're looking forward to continuing providing this tea time community with you here at the Renewal Center. If you're ever here in the Charlotte, Concord, North Carolina area, please come visit us. 159 Church Street North here in Concord, North Carolina. Feel free to download our mobile app as well. Just type in the Renewal Center. You'll see our logo. We have our blog content that we have twice per month. We also have our digital content, video, and messages for our New You community that we have on Sundays. That's there as well. We're coming up in September. Every single Monday, we'll have a renewal word on Monday that will come up in your notifications every Monday. So every Monday, we will have a renewal moment for you. So hashtag I am renewal. You'll see that pop up on your notifications. So make sure your notifications are on for that mobile app, and you'll get content from our team. We have content we want to share with you so that we can build and foster this community of renewal. That's what this is about. And so that's what we're excited about here at the Renewal Center to provide to you. So again, thanks everyone for connecting with us. Please feel free to type in what your takeaways are for today in these 4 areas. One more time: the gift of being you, part 2, originality, opportunity, overcoming, and ownership. And we appreciate you all being a part of today. I hope that this has been a strength to you. Again, you're welcome, Keisha. Thank you so much for being on. You're welcome, Camille. Thank you so much for being on. I hope this was a strength to everyone today. I'm going to bring Carmela back on at this time, and let's just close this out and see if there's any thoughts that she might have as well. So, Carmela, I'm going to bring you back on. You ready? All right. I think she's over there eating. You eating lunch over there? Hey there. All right. Do you have any last thoughts that you want to share with us before we close out for today?
Oh, that was a powerful time. I mean, just being able to take on a lot of the concepts that we talked about today and taking ownership. There's a lot of things that jumped out at me. And I just want to just encourage everyone today to continue to take on these concepts. This session was really powerful. We had a lot of just interaction today. I just love the interaction and the community in Tea Time Tuesday that we had today. And just, if you looked at that, if you go back and look at the images, the middle part of that image, there was, yes, that right there. If you see everything working together, originality, opportunity, ownership, and overcoming, all of these things working together to help us remember that we are a gift. Our originality matters. Our originality counts. And just we have so much to bring to the table. So I'm excited. And I want to thank you for presenting that today. It was powerful, very powerful.
Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for coming. Carmela, thank you for your words. Please come back and check us out. Make sure that you download our mobile app, follow us up on all of our social media pages, and we look forward to being back with you again here next Tuesday for Tea Time Tuesday. So thanks everyone, and have a very good rest of the day.